Hi there guys, time for another review. This time it's something that's very near and dear to my heart. It's my Grado HF-2s made by Martin Custom Audio. I designed these myself and sent the drawings to Martin, who is a really awesome guy to work with. And so he just blew me away. He made exactly what I drew. And even improved on it in some ways. I made this cable myself, which is braided from silver-plated copper, 8-conductor cable with a Nutric jack in the end. The headphones themselves are of an astounding quality. The only parts of it that are original is what you see here, the drivers and the pads. The rest of it is custom made. The headband is a lambskin leather, which is stitchless, so it looks quite fantastic. It has some soft padding in here, made by Martin. Everything in these are made by Martin. The rods are steel rods with brass nuts in the end. The rod blocks are laminated wood, bloodwood at the end, and then ebony in the middle. The cups themselves are made also from bloodwood and ebony. As you will see in here, the inner sleeve of the cup is made from ebony, which forms the acoustic chamber. Then the outside is made of bloodwood, which makes this classic Grado shape, the mushroom shape cups, and then with the disc at the end of high gloss ebony with these ridges in it, so it kind of looks like an LP record, vinyl, which I think is quite awesome. Then of course the steel mesh in the middle here. The gimbals are also made from ebony, high polished, and then the end pieces here for the screws that are made of bloodwood as well. The entire build took a couple of weeks. I think it worked fairly quickly for what it is. It is, I believe, to date still his most advanced piece of work. Amazing looking headphone, very well built, great quality. The sound of it, it's still at heart a Grado HF-2, of course, which you will be able to read a lot about on the web. Just to give you a few notes on how it sounds. Of course, it's the basic Grado sound, which is always very aggressive, very good for rock and metal, which is what they're legendary for. Of course, good for other genres as well, but those are just the ones they are most famous for in comparison to other headphones. These specifically, the highs, as always, the highs and mids are very lively and sparkly, as they tend to be on Grados. But then on top of that, they have something that not all Grados have, which is a very powerful and deep bass. Very impactful, most impactful bass you can get, I think, at the moment, which is also part of why they are so good for rock, because they just, if you want them to make a sound, the sound will be there like that, and just it's there and then it stops, and it's a very detailed headphone. When you're listening to, for example, symphonic death metal like Dimmu Borgir, you'll just the extremely quick rhythms on the drums, you'll be able to hear the kick of the drum, then complete silence, and then the next one, even though the space between those two is like a millisecond, you'll still be able to hear the complete darkness between the two kicks of the drum, which barely any headphone in the market today managed to do that except for Grado. And then on top of that, as I said, these have this quite amazing bass, which makes them just that much more powerful to listen to, and just amazing for metal, and actually also for electronic music, believe it or not. Due to this bass and the extreme detail, I found them very, very enjoyable for ambient music, like Dana or Solar Fields, a lot of other music like that, and also for more aggressive electronic music such as Justice or other artists like that. It's just, in general, it's a very good headphone for music that requires these tiny little sounds that just needs to be so sharp as a knife's edge. Very good detail. The soundstage of these is very, very big, but not so well defined. If you look at something like the Biodynamic T1 with its angled drivers, you'd be able to tell exactly where an instrument is in relation to itself. With these, you'll just be able to hear the general direction, but the room you're sitting in, if you imagine when you're wearing headphones, it should sound like you're sitting in some sort of room. And this room can have from close to no size, which is very claustrophobic, which is quite normal for a lot of closed headphones, and then up to about an infinite size, which is what these almost have. You can't hear the defined walls of the sound space on the soundstage of the headphones as much as just the general direction of where the sounds are coming from. Whereas with, for example, the Biodynamic T1s, you'll be able to hear specifically the size of the room where things are placed. But for what it does, the soundstage of this is great. For rock and metal, in a lot of cases, you won't need that pinpoint accurate soundstage as much as you would for other genres. And in general, you won't notice it, because it's just the entire the experience of listening to these headphones for those genres. It's just amazing. I definitely recommend the Grado HF-2 as much as I recommend working with Martin Custom Audio. You can just Google the name, you'll find his website. It's a Blogspot website. You can just send him an email and send him some drawings or ideas or anything.